Hi guys, and welcome to another video from Chris's Footy Kicks. So hopefully this is the one that quite a few people have been waiting for from me. It is, of course, the Nike Phantom 6 Elite in the Dynamic Fit collar. This was obviously requested by quite a few people. I've had it on feet. I've had it on feet in quite a few sessions since obviously the boot arrived. I've played a game in it. So let's get into it. Okay, first and foremost, guys, just want to bring this to the forefront. I had a couple of comments this week from people saying that I'm very negative on boots and so on and so forth. But what you guys have to remember is I pay for these boots myself. So my opinion is my opinion. I pay for these with my own money. So if I don't think a boot is good enough, then I'm going to tell you guys out there the boot is not good enough. So yeah, I'm just going to leave that one here. If you don't like my opinions, don't watch. It's as simple as that. I'm here to help you guys buy boots that I think are a good purchase that will help you as a tool. They're there as a tool at the end of the day to perform to the best of your abilities. That being done and said, please subscribe, please follow, etc., etc. I've said this before. So many of you guys watch, but you don't follow or subscribe, so please do that. So anyway, let's get into it. The Nike Phantom 6 Elite. Obviously in the FG version here. As you may have not seen, I actually did a video on the New Balance Descaler V5. Horrible boot for me personally. My heel didn't fit in it, and I didn't find it particularly great. The quality was obviously not that great either. So I took this boot along with me to the game that we played at the weekend. Last weekend, and I changed into this boot. I've never worn a Phantom 6 before, Obviously, I had the old Phantoms, but not the new Phantoms with this obviously grip knit upper. So it was new to me, a completely new experience. I wasn't sure how I was going to fare with it. I've obviously seen other videos and people saying how grippy it is, etc., etc. And yeah, it's grippy, that's for sure. So what's my take on it? Okay, so it's not a negative, but it's also not a positive. I'm kind of sat in the middle because I don't really know if this boot's for me. That's obviously probably the only negative. I'm going to talk about sizing first of all. So I got this in a UK 8.5, which is a US 9.5. Now I went with my normal Vapor sizing, and normally in a Vapor, I pretty much fit into a UK 8.5, US 9.5, no problem at all. So I went with the same. I would say that these slightly came up smaller for my foot. I've got a slightly bigger left foot than I have a right foot, which obviously always causes me issues. But I found when I slipped into these, my foot was literally very touching the very end of the left boot. I didn't have the issue on the right boot, so I'd say that the right foot was perfect and the left foot was slightly too small. I like my toes to be at the end, but it was really at the end. Slipping into the boots, man, these are comfy. There's no two ways about it. You put it on and it is literally like wearing a pair of socks. As I said, I've never worn a pair of these boots before. So coming into these, I was like, wow, this is like weird. So yeah, definitely really comfy. Size wise, just be careful when you're picking the sizes. That's for sure. But again, not really a negative, just the way my foot shape is, I guess. One thing I did notice though was that, and I'm guessing that kind of really has only come to the fore now, is that these are quite wide, or not wide, but I feel they're quite wide. Well, no, let's put this as another way. I've either got really skinny feet or these are quite wide. because in a Mercurial, I find them very locked down. Obviously, a Mercurial is a very narrow boot. This I found, it was great kind of around here. And once tied tight, absolutely perfect. Locked down a million times better than the New Balance, especially in the heel area. I had no heel slippage, no heel rub on my Achilles tendon, nothing like that. The only thing I did find was in the forefoot, I found it quite roomy. And I found that when I was sprinting and turning, my foot would move around inside the boot. Not a massive amount, but just a little bit that I would notice. And that was one of the things that I have noticed about the boot when I've worn it on the last few occasions. So yeah, definitely just be aware of that I found personally there was a bit of room in the forefoot. Now that's not going to be the same for everybody. That brings us on to the sole plate. Sole plate, obviously I've seen the reviews out there. I know that some people are not particularly happy with the sole plate and how it works, this Cyclone 360 thing, etc., etc. And obviously I played a game on the Sunday, which was the first time I put it on. I didn't have any issues with it. It was obviously on natural grass. It had been watered in the morning, so it was quite soft. But for me personally, did it do anything super, super special? No. It's obviously quite responsive anyway. There's quite enough, it's quite got quite a good snapback. This Cyclone 360 thing, I think, is a gimmick. It doesn't need to be there. I don't think so. They could have just put some of these studs just like at the tip there, and then I just don't. I don't think it's like. I think it's a gimmick at the end of the day. I don't really think it does anything special. I certainly didn't notice any major difference by compared to say like a Mercurial, for example. So this is their whole Cyclone 360 thing. It's supposed to help you pivot and turn more on the forefoot. I didn't really notice it. The rest of the sole plate, nice. Didn't have any issues with it. Didn't slip. As I said, the pitch had been watered. So that was great. Since then, obviously, I've played on some harder pitches, which haven't been quite as watered as heavy, and they're definitely a lot drier. Again, no real issues, no stud pressure or anything like that, which I was expecting. That didn't come, so that was great. Again, the Cyclone 360 thing there, I think that's supposed to help you dig and pivot into the ground. On hard ground, I didn't really notice it. It didn't really seem to do anything, to be perfectly honest. But again, I guess it's a subjective thing. The rest of the boot, let's move our way up now to this grip knit material. So this grip knit material is something that I've never experienced before, apart from on the Mercurials. I just want to put this out there now that it is a hell of a lot grippier than the Mercurials, without a shadow of a doubt, 100%. It's nice. It takes some getting used to. Essentially, I slipped into these, came out the MBs, put these on. First sprint down the line in these boots, I went to kind of like stop the ball and then kind of drag it with my other foot to go past the player, and basically the ball stopped, my foot stopped, and I fell over. So yeah, it definitely is very, very grippy on the ball, which is obviously what you want. It helps with the touch and control when the ball's coming out of the air. It really does grip the ball when it comes down. Not grips it, but it does. The ball does definitely stick to this grip knit material 100%. So it does take some getting used to. Probably wasn't ideal going straight into a game with these. Probably would have been better doing it the other way around, where I've done the coaching and a little bit of training and then gone into the game. But it is what it is. So yeah, just be aware of that if you've not worn these boots before. It is a very, very grippy upper and a very grippy material. It's obviously got these different yarns and so on and so forth through it, and then you've got like a silicone protective band round here, I guess, which was nice because I tend to drag my foot when I strike the ball, so that's kind of nice. I'm not sure how long that will last, but again, it was nice. The grass in the game was very, very wet. It had been watered quite a lot in the morning, so I was a bit kind of wary of that when I put them on. First of all, I didn't know if this was going to soak in water or anything like that. Again, didn't at all. It was perfect, no issues whatsoever. It's obviously got some sort of special coating over the top there to to stop the water getting in, which is great. It's obviously nice and soft. It probably definitely warms up and softens up as you're playing in it, which is great. As I said, the only thing I found was it was a bit roomy up there, but that was it. The lace cover obviously is great. You've got the laces underneath there. You can just tuck your laces underneath once you've tied them, which I like. I like that a lot, actually, to be honest, have the laces out the way. So this lace cover here was definitely, that was a welcome addition, really was. I've seen obviously the one without the lace cover, and it gets like a little bit of a bobble and stuff down the bottom there, which isn't so nice. I have seen some videos of people complaining about the plastic here and on out here. I can't say I noticed it, but then I do wear quite thick grip socks. So if I went to a thinner grip sock, I may have noticed it, but I definitely didn't notice it with the thicker grip socks that I wear. You've got this kind of like heel area here. It's obviously got an internal heel counter. It's quite soft. It's kind of like got this plastic bit that comes around the bottom, but the heel folds down. You've got like this ribbed rubbery sort of area here. I don't know what that's for. It didn't really do anything for me. I guess it's just some sort of design detail. And then obviously in the rear here, you've got this plasticky kind of plastic night tick with these little spikes on. Again, no idea what the spikes were all about. They did nothing at all apart from in the game where the pitch was quite wet. They just basically clogged up with mud, which was a pain in the bum. So yeah, that was kind of frustrating. Came off easy enough, but it was just annoying that, you know, when I was sprinting and running, I had like this dollop of mud stuck to these spikes. So just be aware of that, especially if you're playing in a country where it's not dry and it is a little bit wetter, and you do get that mud in the winter months. Obviously the dynamic collar, I like a dynamic collar anyway, to be honest. I don't have any issues with that. I've worn obviously the Superflies and stuff, and I've got Solistas, which obviously have that kind of higher sort of dynamic collar. I've got no issue with it whatsoever. It's a little bit tricky to get on, but once you've got it on feet, as I say, the lockdown was great, and I didn't have any issues with the heel whatsoever. So all in all, the overall boot, really nice, a pleasant surprise. So let's get into the final thoughts. So final thoughts, guys, on the Nike Phantom 6 Elite. Who's it for? It's for someone out there who wants a really nice, comfortable sock boot, very pliable upper, really comfortable to put on. I have to say, I thought the durability looks nice and solid. Nowhere near the same sort of issues as I had with the New Balance V5s. The sole plate, it's a little bit gimmicky with this Cyclone 360 thing, but the rest of it's solid. I love this spine in the middle here to give it a little bit of structure and stability. So that was nice. So yeah, overall, guys, it's actually quite a good boot. And I really did enjoy wearing it over the last sort of 3 and 4 sessions. So it's definitely a bit wide in the toe box area for me personally, but the lengthwise, obviously, as I said, was a little bit too short in the left foot, but perfect in the right foot. So yeah, it's expensive. Is it worth the money? Probably not. But again, you pay for what you get these days. It's very well constructed and put together. And it's very comfortable, and it's definitely a different take on a football boot, especially for me, because I've not worn anything like this before. So yeah, that's my final thoughts, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe. As I said, it's a good boot. Can definitely recommend it. There's a few little tweaks I would change. These spikes on the side, the 360 thing in the toe box there is not the greatest. Well, I wouldn't say it's not the greatest. I just think it's a gimmick. But other than that, it's a good boot. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you all later.